we have had to go through, and eventually all parents have to do it. Potty training is the real deal.
That's right. There are so many recommendations out there, but Kyriaki from the Den Mother podcast has 5 tried and true methods. Welcome.
Hi, you guys. I know this is a big one, and it can be very daunting, but it doesn't have to be. This can actually be a beautiful time between you and your toddler. It's the first big thing you're teaching them.
I like that you say a beautiful time, because I think a lot of anticipation and angst almost is created around this. How do you get around that?
So first of all, I say relax, because your stress becomes their stress and it can slow down the entire process. And number 2, look at it as a bonding thing. But some of the tips I have to make it easier for you, number 1, I would say rip the Band-Aid. So anything like pull-ups, training underwear is just too similar to diapers. And for a lot of kids who have just been going naturally, they haven't had to think about it, it's actually comforting to sit in a warm, poopy diaper. So making it uncomfortable for them is actually incentive for them to not want to go in their undies. So I say rip the Band-Aids, make a celebration of it, tell her you're a big girl now, and let her throw out her own diapers, and then move on immediately to either no undies or undies.
What age group are we talking about? When should we start potty training?
So the typical age range is 18 months to 36 months. They say past 36 months, it gets increasingly more difficult because their muscles actually start to atrophy a little bit. Their behavior, they're used to it, and it's hard to unlearn that behavior. So you want to start 18 months. Some can go earlier, some can go a little later, but that's around the range.
When you talk about getting rid of the diapers, let's talk about nighttime diapers. That's very controversial with a lot of parents. Do you say rip that Band-Aid off as well? Just go for it?
So that's up to you. You can just do the daytime training first, then go into nighttime. But for me, I felt it was better to rip it completely. It'll be messy in the beginning, and that's okay. And then, you know, eventually we'll get the hang of it. But a lot of times when you keep the diaper and the diapers. A lot of times when you keep the diapers on at night, they'll save their poops for night because they're scared of the potty. Which is number 2 is lead by example. So for those kids who are scared of the potty, you can start by just having them see you on the toilet, seeing older siblings on the toilet to make it less scary for them. And you don't have to make a big show of it. You can just say, oh, I have to go potty. My body's telling me it's time to go potty. Let's go to the bathroom, and just let them see how you do it, which is a big thing. Number 3, and this is a big one that takes stress off of the kids, is to create a potty schedule. I know that seems a little odd, but in the beginning, kids aren't reading their body signals because the diaper, they just go. Right. So if you can take that guesswork out for them and say, these are the times we go potty, then they don't have to think about it until they can learn to listen to their body for those cues. So some great times are transition times. That would be from one activity to another, before or after a nap, before a meal time, when you're switching from inside to outside or vice versa. And you don't ask them, don't say, do you have to go potty? Because they might not know.
Just you're going.
We would say, and not making any stress about it, just saying, hey, we're going to go potty, then we'll go for our walk. Or we're going to go potty, then we'll have our snack. Just boom, boom, this is our routine. Makes it easy and takes that guesswork.
And then how long does this process usually take?
So one of the resources I love is called Oh Crap Potty Training by Jamie Glowacki. In her method, she takes everything off. No undies, no nothing.
Like a 72-hour, yeah, I've heard of that.
Yes, but it doesn't have to be. So if it takes you longer, that's totally okay. People have gone slow, and that's totally okay, but it can be as quick as 2 or 3 days if you're all in, focused on it. A couple other things, incentives. I am very against bribes. So prizes, anything to get them to go potty. I don't like that.
I definitely did that. Tell me why. I'm very curious.
So this is expected behavior. This isn't like, oh, you're doing something amazing. This is, we all do this. So you don't want to give them prizes.
They don't want to think they're getting a doll every time they go potty.
Yeah, it's like when they're 4 and they're like, I went potty, where's my treat? But there are incentives you can do just to make it more enjoyable, especially for the kids who have a hard time staying on the potty, sitting still long enough to poop. So for us, we had a little stack of special books we kept by the potty, and we would only read them at poop time, and it was a bonding experience. It was something special, and it kept him on the potty long enough to get his poop out. But it wasn't like you get this because you did that. It was like, this is going to make this enjoyable.
Where were you when I was potty training? Goodness.
It can actually be so fun. And the last thing I would say is make sure your kids are drinking plenty of water. You don't want them to add painful poops onto an already daunting process. The other thing is if you hit constipation, which can happen, especially if they're holding it in, talk to your doctor about a safe stool softener and the correct dosages, because you can use a safe stool softener just to make it easier to go.
We're almost out of time, but I know a lot of parents struggle with when the kids get scared to poop. Peeing is one thing. What would you say to them?
So some of the things are, like we said, having those incentives and taking the stress off of you, because they're going to feel it. Just saying, okay, we're going to poop. And if they don't poop, that's okay. Let's try again in an hour. You know, things like that. And if they poop on the floor, you can say, ew, yuck. Let's try that in the potty, and pick it up with I use a doggy bag and put it in the potty just to show them, but not like, oh my gosh, what did you do? Like, don't catastrophize it. Okay. Yeah.
So many good tips. Thank you so much. Tell our viewers where they can find more.
So if you want more on potty training, you can go to thedenmother.net, search poop. Also follow me on Instagram at @the_Kyriaki, and download the Den Mother podcast wherever you get your podcasts.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you so much.